The softbox has been a major staple in the filmmaking and photography world for quite some time now. It's functional, fast, and portable, and creates great results in little time. It's the go-to tool for many sit-down interviews and talking head YouTube videos. If the softbox is that great, why isn't it used in larger film sets and productions? A great rule of thumb to keep in mind for any piece of gear within the filmmaking and photography world is that not every tool is for every job. In this video, we want to give you a template and a better understanding of when to use a softbox or when to use larger lighting setups. The softbox, with all its great features, also has its downsides. Although it creates a decently soft light, it can't get any softer. Because the distance between the light source and the diffusion is fixed within the softbox, the light cannot become softer without shooting it through an additional frame, which then creates more bulk and size on set or in the location you're shooting it. Here's an example. In this first setup, my face is being lit using a 48-inch parabolic softbox as close to my face as possible without being in the shot. Here's a false color overlay to display we are correctly exposing for skin tones. When using false color, for most skin tones, green means go. So we will dial in our key light until our false color shows green on my face. Great results. Now let's remove our softbox and toss up a small diffusion frame. Once again, our diffusion is as close to my face as possible, but now we can create additional distance between our light and our diffusion. Take a look at how much softer the roll-off between the key side and shadow side becomes. Now, why is that important? A lot of times in the professional filmmaking industry, clients will request, or you yourself will create a desire and palette to want to have softer interview looks, which is ultimately more flattering for the subjects in the frame. Again, not every tool is for every job. For us personally, we prefer to have a very soft source for our interview setups, as we feel it is a more polished and professional look. But when it comes to our YouTube videos, we almost always use a softbox for its simplicity, speed, and decent light quality. As we said before, you can soften your softbox setup by adding a diffusion frame in front of it, but this requires lots of room and space, which isn't ideal for most interview and dialogue setups. Here's where the booklight setup comes in and why this is our go-to for sit-down interviews. As we discussed, to create a really soft source, you need plenty of distance between your light and diffusion. By simply bouncing your light source and allowing it to pass through a sheet of diffusion, you essentially double the distance between your light and the subject, while still maintaining a small footprint in your set. So bouncing your source is always a great idea for a softer light, but not the greatest for control and spill. That's exactly why we use a booklight setup. It not only creates distance between your light source and diffusion, it also controls any spill created by bouncing your light while still keeping your setup fairly small and compact. This is always helpful when you're filming in a small room but want a soft interview setup. The booklight approach does take additional time to set up and an extra stand or two, but if you're getting paid to set up interviews for a client, it shouldn't be an issue for you to take an extra 30 minutes or so to set up. It'll definitely be worth it. If you want to get real simple and efficient with your booklight, you can set this up all on one stand. We will put a link in the description of this video to see how we set up a one-stand booklight. Another reason we don't use a softbox on the majority of our setups is because you're limited on the source size and coverage. For example, if you have a large wide shot or an area to film or multiple people to interview, now you can always get a larger softbox, but large softboxes like the Hudson Spider can get very expensive. And you still don't quite get the coverage for a larger space like a bigger diffusion frame gives you. When you use a larger diffusion frame, this opens the door to an array of different diffusion options. It also gives you a larger eye light, which is a very underestimated technique when creating interview setups and dialogue scenes. So if you have the space for a large diffusion frame and a softbox, we guarantee you won't be disappointed with the results. Now this is a side note, maybe even a little rant, and definitely not as important of a reason to not use a softbox on bigger productions. There's certainly way better ways to differentiate yourself from other creatives in your area to give your clients a reason to continue hiring you, like being professional, kind, and obviously good at your job. But another way is to offer your clients the best filmmaking experience possible, rolling out the red carpet. As you go along in your filmmaking career, maybe a softbox is all you have and the only lighting tool you know how to use, no problem. But as soon as you understand other ways to light, dare I say better ways to light, I feel it now becomes a mandate to give your clients the best experience possible with what you know. When they show up on set and there's multiple crew members, large frames, and a big camera package, they all of a sudden feel extremely special and that they hired the right person for the job. Mainly because they couldn't set that up or do anything like that themselves. Or maybe they have hired people in the past that showed up as a one-man band in a softbox and gave them results that they didn't love. As you grow, continue thinking of ways to impress your clients and give them more peace of mind while on set. Most times when we have a large lighting setup, a good sized crew, director's monitor, the client almost always feels like they hired the right people before anything has ever even been delivered. That also has a lot to do with pre-production, but that's another topic that we've discussed in some of our other previous videos. On top of trying to impress your clients, you should always look for ways to inspire yourself, whether that's a new technique or a new piece of gear. For us, when we have a larger lighting setup planned, the entire crew feels more inspired throughout the day. Like I said, this may not be as important as the other technical reasons why you should use a larger setup for a softer result, but definitely something worth mentioning as a side pro tip to helping you retain clients with slightly larger budgets. Hey, that's all we have for this video. Hopefully we were able to give you some additional insight into why certain productions use larger setups and when it's best to just use a softbox. Certainly there are different tools for different jobs. If you have any questions regarding lighting setups, please drop a comment down below. If you've been following along with us on this channel and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. We appreciate you guys a ton, and we'll see you in the next one.